Hello, and welcome back for your daily dose of LOL Esports content, where I'm going to go over the games that took place this morning in the LPL and preview the games in the LPL and LCK for tomorrow. This was a little tougher. I had to go search for the VOD on YouTube, but I did find it and go and watch the games because there is no English LPL broadcast every day anymore. Now, there were some things to take away from these series, to be honest with you. A lot of young players performing at a high level that, I really want to see develop and improve. So, first, we have OMG and Team Wee. I did go 2 0 in predictions. OMG would win 2-0. Starry played in place of Abel. So, I didn't actually I forgot to double check the starting lineups yesterday before I did the video, and thank God I did today for the LPL. Um, that's one thing about the LPL that they give that others don't is a starting lineup that's easily accessible. So Starry went 6-1-20, 37% of damage, had over 1,000 DPM in this series. And Zhao Feng 5-1-24, and he ended up being MVP, and I'll talk about that. Prince 265, 38% of damage in the loss. So, game one, 16-minute laning phase, OMG are up 3.6k gold. There's only one kill in the laning phase, and then there are 19 minutes with absolutely jack squat happening in terms of kills. It was until pretty much minute 30 when we had our next kill. Now, the laning phase was dominated by OMG. They went in and got advantages in the jungle twice. They took all 3 grubs, so as in like took 2 grubs and then took the Rift Herald. Took a Drake. Team Wee took a Drake, but Cube on the Rumble ended up making a difference in the mid to late game, laying down damage and winning the one key team fight to take this game. Like laning phase, OMG were ahead in every area. Cube was ahead 20 over Wayward. Zhao Feng was ahead 16 over Hung. Hung honestly left a lot to be desired. Sorry, Hang left a lot to be desired. I thought that he would be able to match this guy. And no, this rookie came out firing. After losing his job on top Esports LDL team last year, I expected him to struggle, and that was not the case. On the Jackson game one, I mean, sure, if anybody made anything happen in the first 30 minutes, the game probably would have been a lot different. But both teams kind of had a staring contest that resulted in a late game team fight that Cube would lay down the damage for and help the team win. Now, game two, a little more action, but not by much. I'm going to be honest with you. But at the same time, the mid to late game, a lot of kills. And something to note about Zhao Feng, he had 100% KP in this series. And not only that, in game two, there were like 18 or 21 kills. It's either, I think it was 8, it was one of the two. And he had 100% KP on the Maokai. Very impactful. And I think that's something that you really need to note because it's his first series. Like him and Starry both played exceptional. Like if you had 2 rookies play, and Team Wee is not a bad team. Is it a middling team? Yes. Is it a world's contending team? No. But you have 2 rookies go combined 11, 2, and 44 in their first series on the LPL stage. And I thought that they did quite well. Now, Fofo had some moments where he looked good, especially that second game. Like I said, it was a close one for a while. But Angel on the LeBlanc in game 2 came through in team fights big time. I thought that he looked okay in game 1, but game 2 he was a big difference maker. In laning phase, to note, Team Wee did get a 2v2 kill. So there was a blip on the radar for Starry's debut this season. But at 12:52 when laning phase ended, OMG had a 2k gold lead, and Cube had a 36 CS lead over Wayward. There was a moment where Wayward tried to proxy the wave and got caught out and ended up running around the rift on the OMG side and wasted a ton of time. Nobody chasing him really. So that was a mistake to say the very least, and killed his lane. Very rough series out of Wayward. So, I mean, I am honestly very pleasantly surprised by Zhao Feng's success today in his first series. Second series, Anyone's Legend and FPX. Anyone's Legend started off 2-0. Hope 19-3-11, 29% of damage. Cal 0-2-30. That bot lane is one I'm going to be watching all year. I am a big Cal supporter. I have been for a long time. And I think that he is going to make a lot of people remember, oh yeah, this guy is really fucking good. And I shouldn't have forgot because he had played with Teddy last split and didn't look up to snuff when he's been with like 4 different 80 carries and 4 splits and is still the youngest support in the 4 major regions. So 19, 5, and 31 combined. Care 7, 8, 5, 33% of damage in the loss. And not only that, the bot lane was against Duck Dom and Life. Are they LCK castoffs? You could say that for sure. But at the same time, they've both been international events. Duck Dom is not a slouch. He is a solid 80 carry. Now, in game 1, they played Swain Pike, so he wasn't an 80 carry in that one. And in game 2, laning phase was much better. Now, Life had one of those games where he ints his face off on an engaged champion, which lost them game 2, and we'll talk about that. But even game 2, actually, Games of Legend isn't noting this, but I do believe FPX swapped out junglers, so they are going with Moan and Milky Way, and I thought Milky Way did much better, so we're going to talk about that too. So, game 1, 14 minutes laning phase ended with Anyone's Legend up 2.2k gold. In terms of diffies, there was a 12 CS lead for Zhao Lahu in top lane. However, Harry is my MVP for this series. Shanks had 20 over Care, and the bot lane of Anyone's Legend had 12 over FPX's. So, why is Harry MVP? Well, another game with not a lot really happening. So, the bot lane, they traded Trip, so something happened in the bot lane for both sides, and FPX were fine taking grubs, and Anyone's Legend were fine taking drakes. However, in the laning phase, Harry outplayed a topside attempt by FPX, and it resulted in 2-0 in favor of Anyone's Legend. And that kind of got that game rolling. And in my opinion, if it goes differently, maybe we have a very different series on our hands. Care in the mid to late part of the laning phase, you could argue, when laning phase goes to mid game on the Corki, was impactful. But Moan, frankly, didn't do enough, right? So he was on the Maokai. I expected him to do more. In terms of the very late game, who made the difference? It was Shanks and Hope. Shanks on Azir, and I think he played Azir both games, and Hope played Lucian both games. I know Hope definitely did. And that aggression that Hope has, that intiness that we saw with JDG, that's kind of like, okay, you got to tone it down at Worlds. You'll get punished for that. On Lucian, he can get away with that, especially against FPX, and he sure did today. In game 2, laning phase ended at 14 minutes, and FPX had the lead. And in part, I want to say that was because of Milky Way on the Nocturne. He made things happen. He attempted plays. He secured objectives with those plays in the very late game as the game was coming to a close. But at the same time, Krakow found ways to get things done. He hit the topside matchup. He found something to do in the jungle. Actually, both teams did. Invades or picks in the jungle, things like that. Mid lane was affected by Anyone's Legend, but the Nocturne went to bot lane, and once again they took grubs, and Anyone's Legend took drakes. Now looking at these diffies here, Milky Way was ahead 14 over Krakow, Care was ahead 19 over Shanks, but the bot lane of Hope and Kale once again ahead 29 CS. They really took it to Duck Dom and Life. Now, that was in part, in my opinion, because Life was going around the rift with Milky Way. I believe they both had 100% KP after the mid game, and FPX had this lead. But when the fights came to fruition towards the end, Harry brought them back in a key team fight around the Drake that resulted in a triple kill. And that, eliminated the gold lead for FPX and put them on even footing with Anyone's Legend. And then there was another team fight after that around, I feel like what happened was Anyone's Legend picked off Milky Way, picked off Life, actually. Took the Drake. FPX tried to force Baron, and they died in doing so. Shanks getting a couple kills in that one, if I recall correctly, or at least a good shuffle off. So FPX had some good moments in game two. I think Milky Way is the guy to go with, at least for the next series. It's just one game for Milan. Let's not condemn him, or say Milky Way is the next Clear Love or something that's going to have to calm down. But at the same time, Anyone's Legend did look good, and they looked better than they've ever looked ever in the history of their organization, and that's because they spent money this year. So, Harry MVP on Quesante. I, honest to God, did not think that was going to be what I was going to say. That is the glaring hole in that team in terms of making it to, being a significant contender to make Worlds as a fourth seed or something of that nature. Sneak peek for tomorrow. So LPL, we have Ninja in pajamas against LGD Gaming. Last time they played, Nip won 2-1. Half the players from that one are the same. Support matchup is the only one we can go off of. So Shu, 0328, 10% of damage. And Jin Zhao somehow still has a job. 1515, 6% of damage in the loss. Nip are a lot better than LGD. Ultra Prime and IG. Last time they played, IG won 2-1. Half the players are the same. Note, Zhao Yuji is playing in place of An in the AD carry role. Otherwise, we would have highlighted Fodic versus An. So, this time around, like I said, now that I'm paying attention to the rosters, IG have changed and put in a substitute AD carry. I thought the kid looked good in the past, but I also don't think An is bad. So I don't know what this is about. I don't know if he plays a better Senna, and then they can allow Wink to do other things. I mean, Wink can play Senna, and maybe Zhao Yuji can play things alongside the Senna. I don't know, but that's what they're going to, at least that's the roster going into tomorrow. Cryan went 11, 11, and 21, and led the team in damage with 29% last year. LCK, FearX, HLE. FearX 1-1, coming off of a win against Brion. HLE 2-0, coming off of a win against KDF. Last time they played, HLE won 2-0. Half the players are the same. Zeka would go 9-2-9, 33% of damage in the loss. Closer 4-7-1, 31% of damage. Sorry, Closer lost. Zeka won. KDF and KT. KDF 0-2, loss against HLE. KT 2-0, coming off of a win against D+. Last time they played, KT would win 2-0. Half the players are the same if you don't count Cuz. Cuz played for KT, now with KDF. Mid lane matchup remains BDD 11-2-6, 23%. Bulldog 3-7-3, 25%. That one will be more competitive than the first one, I would say. That's probably the most competitive series of the day. If there's even a word to describe what tomorrow's schedule is like. So, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.